Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing today?
4-game homestand. They're back home.
For it.
Like, my gosh. Is this distracting at all?
Well, a little bit.
Yeah,
I just want to kind of see it on
Do you want to see how
camera.
it looks?
Yes.
You can't even tell it's there.
I mean, is this not a great start to a Tuesday?
Listen, I'm all for entertaining everybody. So if I have to ridicule myself and look ridiculous,
Hey,
which I do naturally.
There is nobody that brings more holiday spirit than you. I'm
Yeah.
Sara Lesky. He is Jamie Thomas. Thanks so much for catching us on Check-In.
Thanks, Zach.
As we get you ready for tonight, game 29 for the Winnipeg Jets. 14-13-1 is what their records so far. As you mentioned, it is a 4-game homestand, the longest homestand of the season so far, which is crazy when you think about the fact that we're already this far into December. They kick it off tonight with Dallas, Boston, then Washington, and Ottawa will be here throughout.
I pretty much screwed myself about going on the road ever again on this weekend because the Jets lost 6-2 in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And
first time this season that they've given up 6 goals. First time this season Jamie Thomas has been on the on the road. Coincidence? I think not.
It's funny how those things work out.
It certainly is. So the Jets now come into tonight's game finding themselves just outside of the wild card picture, 2 points back of Edmonton and Seattle. Now, depending if you go points percentage or just points, then a couple teams in front of them as well. But Edmonton and Seattle in action tonight. So you want to be able to get these 2 points tonight, and we are going to get you all set over the next 30 minutes.
There's been some changes to the lines.
Yeah.
I remember last week, Scott Arniel was asked about breaking up the big line.
Yeah.
Didn't sound like said they had talked about it.
Yeah, and that's something that we'll talk with Kevin Sawyer about when he joins us in just a short period of time. But he did say that, as you mentioned, Scott had said that he could be breaking up the lines just in an attempt to get offense going, because we know that obviously the top line has been providing really all of the offense.
All of it. Except for the fourth line lately. Cole Kepke got another goal on Saturday. He's got 2 in as many games.
Yeah.
So, shall we look at what?
If you want to, go ahead.
Is that in the rundown?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, there it is. So, what's the biggest change here, in your opinion?
Well, obviously, there's a variety of it. You see that they have made changes to all 4 forward lines.
Yes.
For it, keeping pairs together. And I think it'll be interesting to see. We first saw these yesterday at practice, which what a novel concept to have a practice as well. Scott Arniel saying that it was really the first time since November 24th that they've had a really solid practice the way that they've had. I think it'll be interesting to see how he utilizes the lines tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little surprised to see Iafallo get bumped up onto that line with Connor and Scheifele. But he's looking for anything right now to ignite, hopefully, more than one line.
The last 10 games of last year, Iafallo went up with Connor and Scheifele because Gabriel Velarde was hurt.
Yeah.
And then Iafallo was with them in the beginning part of the playoffs as well before Gabe came back. So there's familiarity there, and he's been there many times before. So, I mean, and then Gabe Velarde going down with Niederreiter and Lowry with this 3 big bodies. Because again, we've been waiting for the third line to become that identity line that the Jets have, based so much around their team around, and they just haven't got to that yet for whatever reason. So maybe Velarde sparks that line a little bit more. 2 big bodies on either side of them too as well. So, I mean, something's you can't blame Scott Arniel for trying to get something going here in a very critical homestand, and especially with the opponent you're playing tonight as well in Dallas.
Yeah. Do you like the fact, and maybe this is a question for all of you watching right now, and would love to hear your opinion in the chat. Do you like the fact that this homestand kicks off with Dallas? Now, I understand that they are coming in and they are one of the beasts of the West, and they have the 10-game point streak going on right now. Obviously, we know the way that these 2 teams match up, but instead of going against an Eastern Conference opponent, you come in and you go against a team that you are very familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Know how to play against.
And obviously the magnitude of the game. Do you think that it could potentially be a benefit for the team that this is how they're starting? Again, as opposed to having, say, Ottawa kick off this 4-game homestand.
And that's no slight to Ottawa, but I think, after playing 3 games in 4 days, back-to-backs, flying to Edmonton, and having that first period happen, they're down 4-0. I think this is a perfect elixir to where you want to be, right? So I love it. I love that they're playing Dallas. A lot of things. It's exactly 2 months ago. Kelly Moore from CJOB pointed that out today. It's exactly 2 months ago today the season started, and it was Dallas at home. So I like it, and I hope our viewers like it as well, because if there's anybody that gets you going and fired up, it's Dallas.
Yeah.
You lost them in the playoffs last year. They've been in, they've made a real hard push at the end of last year to try and win the Central Division, but Winnipeg fought them off. So I think this is a perfect time for Dallas to come to town.
Yeah, and so we'll ask when Kevin Sawyer joins us in about 10 minutes.
I like that. See, do I like it? I've been waiting for it. So it's this thing that you've been circling on your calendar. So we'll get back to that in a second. So we should hear what Arnie's looking for, right? In the whole thing.
Sure.
Let me see. Wait a second. Keep going. Keep going.
No, it's all good.
That's
it's all good.
Wait. Let's do what you had lined up there. Arnie and line changes. Here we go.
I like everything. I need what we just talked about. I need that. I need 4 lines doing the same thing. And Gabe's excited about it. Gabe, he's a big body guy that can maybe help that line get going. And it's just a case of spreading a little bit of the wealth. And I've talked to Scheif and KC about this. And it's just, there's obviously familiarity with Al. So it's just trying to, kind of get 4 lines going and then kind of, go from there.
No, just communication. I think, just finding. The spots where I have to be in and, just be a good support option and play at a good 200-foot game. So, I got to bump it up and, try to have fun out there and keep it positive.
So I follow talking about playing with Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor, as we talked about a little bit earlier, is something that he's done before. So it's not like he's not familiar with the situation.
Yeah, and he said, got to have a little fun out there. Which, if you remember their last game that they played here on Friday against Buffalo, I spoke to Iafallo for the bench interview, and he talked about the importance of having some fun out there, which obviously is very challenging to do when you're going through the adversity that this team has had. But I also think there is an element that you can't be super tight all the time, and it's so much easier to say than to do, obviously. But you look at some of the teams now that around the league that you see some of the post game in the locker room conversations and everything, and guys look like they're having fun. And I just think that when you get as tight as these guys are and are gripping the stick tight and things aren't going in, look, their power play hasn't been working. They haven't been able to, the penalty kill has been off. And so they haven't been able to have the production that they are used to having in recent seasons, that sometimes having a little bit of levity in there and trying to keep things a little bit looser can hopefully pay off for them.
Well, one thing, another hard part to have a lot of fun is when your confidence is as high as it used to
Absolutely.
be. So Scott Arniel talked about what confidence means when you're having a tough time the way they are right now.
Yeah, confidence is a funny word. At the end of the day, you get hesitant when you don't have it. You slow down when you don't have it, and you think too much when you don't have it. And I think when you're feeling good about it, you're very instinctive and you're very reactive. You're very quick about what you do. And I think that hockey is so fast that if you're not playing that way and you're not doing it that way, you're back on your heels. And now all of a sudden it's like, I'm late to this next spot. I'm late to get to we want you to be here as F2 or F3 or your read and whatever it may be. Your line mates are expecting you to be here. When you start to think too much and you start kind of waiting to see if something's going to happen, you're late to the party.
So I thought that's a great answer. So the whole time, and we've talked about this a lot on this show about how the team looks slow. That's a good example right there, where you're not feeling you're not going to the right place at the right time, and then somebody else is going to be there that you're not supposed to. It just goes. It's a whole trickle down effect that makes you look slow.
Well, and you're thinking, you're not reacting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think regardless of which sport you're playing and at what level, and you and I often talk about youth sports because we both have daughters that play, and we talk about when you're thinking a lot, again, it doesn't matter what level you're at, and you're not just playing and you're not reacting, that things do happen a lot slower. You are slow to get to whatever point you're supposed to be at.
Especially with a system, I don't want to say it's complicated, but the Jets have been playing the same system defensively for a very long time now. And there's people getting used to it, and there's people that have kind of come back into the lineup. It's just that they got to get going at some point, and confidence plays a large role in that. And perhaps a game against Dallas changes that whole narrative about confidence, especially if you come out here with 2 points.
Absolutely. A number of players needing to get going, as you said, and I think it's been well documented, and the players have spoken about it themselves as well, obviously not being able to produce at the level that they would like to and that they need to. And one of those players that has generated a lot of attention recently has been Jonathan Toews.
Right.
And we've discussed him a lot as well. I think coming back in everybody knew that there was going to be a period of time that it would take for him to hopefully be able to get up to the level that they were expecting him to be at. Now people are looking, going, okay, is he able to get there? Because they haven't had the production from him that I think many people would have hoped for.
Yeah, 3 goals, 9 points in 28 games. The fact that he's played all 28 games, I think, is impressive. The fact that he's been out for 2 years, he's been up and down the lineup. Now he's on the wing, and he talked, before we get into what he said today, or one of the key clips that we're going to show you, he kind of talked about there is still, no matter how long you've been playing this game, when you're playing the wing, when you've been playing center for so long, there's a big adjustment, especially when he's taking faceoffs and one's in the offensive zone, and Adam Lauer's taking the faceoffs in the neutral and defensive zone. So it's just about where you have to go. So he said there's a big part of your ego. He said he's prided himself in his two-way game. He's prided himself on being a centerman. That's what he's got to leave behind. But on top of that, your struggles, and I'm saying his, aren't as big as that, do not overshadow what's the team struggles, right? And sometimes that makes it a little bit easier to not focus on yourself when things are tough for the team. That's what we talked about today.
Sometimes it's a little bit easier to not get wrapped up in your own thing when the team's going through it, and you tend to find a way to gravitate to the energy that the locker room needs when we're all going through something like that. And I think it's just trying to be a positive, lighthearted energy that's showing up. Grateful to play hockey and grateful to go to work and to be able to do it in a locker room like this every day, and knowing that you keep kind of reminding yourself of the big picture of what things look like and what they could look like at the end of the year, and knowing that even teams that are hot right now might go through a spell like this too. So it happens to everybody, and you just got to keep working to get through it.
And he talked about how quickly the season has gone by too. They're at game 28 already, and we're December 9th. That to me is insane how many games have gone by. You're always looking at wins and losses in some ways, and you don't look at the amount of games they played in that aspect. But he talked about how crazy and how quickly time has gone by, the schedule that they have, et cetera, et cetera. But he's a guy that certainly needs to get going at some point here to help. And he's doing his work in the faceoff circle. There's no question about that. It's just other parts of his game, like the offensive side of things, you would like to see a little bit more of, I'm sure.
Yeah, and if you're interested in listening to everything that Jonathan Toews had to say this morning with his media availability, you can go to the Winnipeg Jets website, and you will find it up there in its entirety, because it is interesting, because we don't get to hear from Toews on a really regular basis, I'd say. I mean, he talks to a lot of people off kind of to the side, but not in a scrum format. So it is worth 8
minutes of good stuff. Yeah.
If you want to go, especially because of the attention that has been paid to him. Playing on a line tonight, or at least to start, I think it'll be interesting to see how Scott Arniel utilizes his lines. Also, is he really patient with them? If things aren't working, does he move pieces around a little bit or players around? Look, I mean, Toews, for example, he said on the wing, could we see him move back for some shifts in the middle, move up the lineup back to that second line? Who knows? So we'll have to see, since they have last change, and what sort of line matching Scott's going to do to try to contain this Dallas Stars team. But I had the chance to catch up with Morgan Barron just a short while ago for the bench interview. And the team comes home for 4 games. It feels like it's been months since you guys have been home for a 4-game homestand. How do you look at this stretch of games that are coming up? I know everyone takes it game by game, but I mean, when you look at it overall, a 4-game stretch.
Yeah, definitely good to be home. Hopefully we can kind of build some momentum on it, but obviously a really good team coming in tonight in Dallas, and a team that is in the Central. I can see Flats behind me. Team that's been in the Central. Obviously we exited last year to them and didn't have the best start against them at home this year. So I think it's a great opportunity to kind of get rolling, and hopefully, we've been kind of looking to build that momentum and kind of go on a streak, and we're talking about starting a 1-game winning streak and going from there. So that kind of starts tonight.
When you talk about trying to build up those streaks and get things going, right, is that how important is confidence, and where do you put the confidence of this group right now?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think the confidence is there for sure, but it's kind of a matter of bringing it to the forefront and kind of proving it to ourselves time and time again. I don't think there's any doubt on the team we can be, but obviously we probably haven't played that way consistently enough. So, like we said, it's kind of starting that 1-game winning streak and going from there. And then I think as we start getting going and kind of stringing longer stretches of games together, I think that'll kind of help bring that out of us.
We've seen changes to all the lines in a variety of capacities, and before, in fact, your fourth line was getting going, and some changes to it again. From a fourth line perspective, regardless of who's on it and you're centering it, what do you need the identity of that line to be?
Yeah, I think it's bringing kind of a certain level of consistency. Knowing what you're going to get out of each other, being predictable, and finding ways to chip in. Obviously, we've been able to get on the board a little bit more the last couple games, but doing the other things, forechecking, creating momentum, being reliable defensively, all those things are a huge part of it for all of our lines, but I would say especially kind of our line, and really just being able to bring that every night, I think, is a big thing for us.
You mentioned, obviously, with Dallas being the first game here tonight, you guys know them so well. What is it, when you look at this Stars team, though, that you're going to have to do in order to be able to have success and execute the style that you want to play?
Yeah, it's a really deep lineup. I mean, you go all the way through, and they have a lot of star power at the top, and even moving their way down, a lot of really good players. So it's going to need to be a full effort. It's going to need to be a full 60 minutes. We know they're not going to let up, and they're going to get their chances. But I think, weathering that storm and finding a way to push back. And we know we're right there with them. We kind of proved that last year, and we have another opportunity to prove it tonight.
Good luck tonight. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I like that interview. I think a lot of good things in there, a lot of good information about what they're trying to do and what needs to be done. So well done.
Did you like Wade Flaherty?
Listen,
Back
see,
and forth.
I
and
even
then
see
Morgan.
I even see the chat.
Phyllis noticed.
Phyllis noticed.
Yep.
Now that's becoming a thing.
Well,
it was happening before.
So
but
Morgan didn't realize that it was a thing.
Okay.
And then so Wade started skating by, and I started laughing, as did Wade. And Morgan was a little confused, and I said, "Oh, Flats tries to get into in the background of every interview
Thank you.
that he does." And he said, and he goes, "Oh, really?" Well, then all he could see out of the corner of his eye
now it's all
was
I
Wade
see.
going back and forth.
I don't even see you, whoever you're interviewing
It's
anymore.
just-
All I see is Flats.
I know.
Yeah.
I always say to him, I'll interview you. You don't have to just be in the background.
He's just like
He loves it, though.
yeah. See, that's what I mean. It's still light around the room and on the ice. So that's a good sign to me that they're going to get out of this.
Yes.
A man of optimism at all times and is always about never late. Kevin Sawyer joining us now. He literally sent me a photo of him unlocking his door of his apartment.
Oh.
He just got to where he is right now. He changed, did his hair, and shaved before he did this all in the span of 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Something else, eh? Look at that. And his pulse, regulate that heartbeat.
Was down now from running.
Yeah. So you're ready for a biathlon in the Olympics. So you lower your heart rate really fast and you shoot the gun. That's ski hard.
Do you know what I have to say before we even start this is what I like about your hat the most.
Yeah.
The thing I like about that thing the most is that it shows your amazing flow. It doesn't cover too much of it up. So
It's true.
It kind of gives us both things that we want. So thank you for that.
Edmonds is giving me the hardest time about my hair right now. Like he just wants me to get a cut. And it reminds me of when I worked with Roger Millions at Sportsnet. I grew my hair out again. And Raj was like, he was having cardiac arrest every day about my hair. And then I finally cut it. And I thought Raj was going to cry, but I'm not going to cut my hair.
You're just going to keep growing it?
I'm going I might go Keanu Reeves. I don't know yet.
Wow.
So jealous. I mean, you got the great teeth, the great hair, like the clothes. Well, the hair's great.
Yeah. Personality, not so much. Yeah. Like there's lots of other things. Like I have to, so if I distract people with the hair, then they forget all the other things that aren't working for me. You know what I mean? Thanks, buddy. That's why I bring you on the show. Hey, there've been some change in the lines. You were not in Edmonton, as I was. You watched it though with Dan Robertson, your broadcast partner. What are you seeing, or what are you hoping for with this mismatch of lines that Scott Arniel's put together?
The reason that this is all happening in my mind, and what I'm hoping to see is to get a few different guys going. There's guys that have been going, and now you spread the wealth to try to get other guys going that haven't been and have to be if this team wants to have a chance to win. And so this isn't about one or two players, but clearly Cole Koepke Cole Perfetti has to get going. Jonathan Taves, wants to find some chemistry and needs to find some chemistry with different guys. This isn't where things will end. I don't believe that for a second. But coaches find different ways to get the attention or find a spark or maybe give some juice, something new. Sometimes a change is as good as the rest. And so what I'm looking for is to see specific players gain some confidence, and maybe this can add something to get Cole on the score sheet. Maybe Jonathan Taves feeling a little bit more comfortable, and maybe getting some more offense out of him, and maybe even Ally Fallow with those top guys to get onto the score sheet a little bit more often. Those guys are a huge part of this. Although Al isn't tasked with scoring regularly, he still has to be a part of that and hasn't been. So I think the team has been shifted here. These lines clearly have been mixed up, and it's geared toward getting some individuals back on track.
Well, and I think, Kev, it's also geared towards the opponent too, in a little bit, right? Like, I mean, keeping in mind that this is Central Division opponent, the style of game that Dallas plays, that you want to be able to utilize that last change and everything that you have at your disposal in order to try to contain them. Of course, the last time these two teams met was game 1 of the season, and it was a 5-4 Stars win. This Stars team has been rolling. What is it that you think that this Jets team needs to do, either to contain Dallas or on their own end to have success against them?
Well, here's the double-edged sword here, Sarah, where it's a great question because it gives the Jets an opportunity to feel so good. If they can come out of this game, win or lose, hopefully, of course, a win, but feeling very good about their game, it could go a long ways, because this Dallas Stars team, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound crazy, in some ways are a bigger challenge than the Colorado Avalanche. And I'll qualify that by saying, because there's no one way this team wins. They require you as an opponent to play 60 minutes and of some of your best hockey, and even then it might not be enough. From goaltender out, even with the injuries, there's no one thing you can put your finger on with the Dallas Stars to say, this is why they win. With the Jets last year, you would say their offense comes from their defense. They're the best defensive team, and they build from that. This year, you would say when they win, the first line is probably why in goaltending. For Dallas, they know how to win. They're confident in themselves. They like their coach a lot. They have star power, and it's not always the same thing. So it is going to require a real team effort, not just for 1 or 2 periods. It's going to take 3, and even then, with a lot of teams, it's not enough.
But I talked to Louis DeBrusque after the game in Edmonton on Saturday, and he said that the Jets are where the Edmonton Oilers were 2 weeks ago. Like they're playing on the road a bunch of times. They couldn't practice. He said, wait till they get home. Wait till they get some practice time. Do you agree with that? And why is practice time so important when things aren't going well?
Yeah, look, there's no doubt. And I mean, every coach will tell you that every team is going through this, where, I mean, practice time is important for teams that aren't going well. That's quite frankly, because it gives you an opportunity to kind of work on some things, get some flow and consistency. So the spotlight, like with the Oilers that Louis talked about, same with the Jets, like it gives you a chance to rest, but it also gets you a chance to drive some kind of things that aren't going well home. But I'll tell you, like, I talked to Dylan Sandberg today. I think Mark Scheifele said this a couple of weeks ago, where, there's a silver lining here where you come out of this and you feel almost bulletproof because of the tests that you've been put through, the mental challenges, the doubt that you've had to shed, and the belief required in each other and in your systems and your coaching staff to pull out of something like this. So, that's obviously what Scott Arniel and the Winnipeg Jets are hoping for. And what an opportunity. Like, this isn't going to be easy, but wouldn't it be great if at the end of this game, they can look at each other, the coach can say to the players, okay, you can do it. That's what it's going to take. And this is going to be kind of a template game kind of moving forward.
What will you watch? Excuse me.
You okay?
What will you,
Water?
Oh,
Water?
This just the thoughts just took my breath away. What will you be watching for early on, Kev, in this game?
Yeah, patience. I think that the Jets would understand this better than anybody, where it's not about winning a shift, and it's not about like trying to win this in the first period. It's about just stacking shifts together, being very responsible, very connected, and maybe trying to win a game 2-1. So what I'm looking for is shouldn't jump off the sheet, in my opinion, if the Jets are hitting their mark and maybe playing to the game plan, it should look like a hydraulic machine where it's just one shift tied into the next shift. Next thing you know, you've got a half a period under your belt and you're like feeling stable and you're feeling like, okay, it's a 1-goal game or it's a scoreless game. That's good. And to me, it should look very methodical, very hard fought. And it should be a low event game here, I think, if the Jets want the style and execute the game they want.
Okay, appreciate your time, but before I let you go, tomorrow
I
is a
ran
double-
all the way home. That's
Yeah,
not
no,
long
no,
enough
no,
for
no,
the
no.
effort I put in to be here.
I would keep you on.
Hold on, I'm not done yet. It's a double pod taping tomorrow.
Okay.
2 ground control podcasts. Kevin Sawyer
Yes.
number 1, Cole Perfetti number 2. Kevin's going to come on. We're going to do something different. We're going to eat hot wings while we're doing the show. Stole this from an idea, of course, because I can't come up with my own ideas.
Yeah.
But Kevin, we're going to talk about the psychology behind fighting. And I know the game has changed a lot, but you're going to go through some pretty good stories. But can you just kind of quickly talk about one moment with Stu Grimson and kind of preview that a little bit that you had when you were on the ice with the big guy about to drop the gloves?
Okay, well, I'll prelude this with, like the game's changed, and we know that fighting is a kind of a residual thing nowadays. And even then, though, these men that I've met after my career are the highest of character, usually the most gentlemanly like, and Stu Grimson would be one of those guys. He's actually a lawyer. We see him on the NHL Network. He's so well spoken. So when you consider that, and then what I'm about to tell you, he's given me a couple of real good lickings in my younger career in the NHL. But I remember once we were in Anaheim, we were down by a couple goals and we were facing off right in front of our own bench. So my whole team, coaches, everything are facing me. I'm right wing, so I'm facing them. And I remember Stu Grimson was down on his stick was on his knees. And I remember skating up to him. I felt like I kind of skated up to a mule or like a horse. He's so big and his hips were so high. And so I was going to challenge him, and I did. And I give him a bit of a cross check onto the hip. And he just calmly kind of turned his head to the side and looked at me. And I said, "We're going," when the puck drops. And he calmly said, like, his heart rate would have been way lower than mine was running to get to this pod. He calmly looked at me in almost like a lawyer tone, said, "All right, Kevin," called me by my first name and said, we shall engage when the puck hits the ice as you wish. And I remember looking and I'm like,
that's terrifying.
He isn't scared at all. This was just transactional for this guy. And I was like, I'm in trouble. I'll never forget the feeling of his response and how sure he was in himself.
Yeah.
That's what the Jets are looking for tonight.
Yeah. Buddy, I appreciate it. Look forward to sitting down with you tomorrow and eating chicken wings.
Okay. So no, quickly, how are you with hot sauces, Kevin?
Okay, Sarah, thanks for asking. I'm a bit of a sweater.
Okay.
My engine runs hot anyway, my default setting. So how am I with spice? Well, I'm bringing a I'm going to bring a ShamWow.
Just tell everybody we're doing level 2, 1, 3, 5, and then apparently there's one really hot one. Friend of the program, Carter Chan's going to come into the studio and deliver some hot sauces, and we're going to pay the price.
Okay.
I just have to share this quickly. So my Sara at home, my sweetheart partner at home, always chuckles at me because when I eat regularly, I get a little glisten on my nose. It's just, I don't know why, but I get a little sweaty on my nose when I eat. No big deal. It's just part of my training. You wait.
I know it's going to be so. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to do the longer stories first, and then the last part where we're suffering, we're going to try and keep them short, but we'll see how that goes.
I look forward to hearing Sarah's reaction to the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
She tunes in all the time, so there you go. Yeah,
You're so lucky. My wife doesn't watch anything I've done, and I can't even remember.
Has
the last time.
No idea.
No idea.
She'll call and I'll hear them and goes, "No, I'm just about to do check-in."
Yeah.
No, at 12:30.
12:30. I've been doing this for a year and a half.
So, but here's the key. I see Sarah once every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. So she wants me to send her every link. She tunes into every game. I'm like, you know what? If we live together, she'd be like, you try to find ways to get away from me, but a little different.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. You're the best.
Thanks, Kevin. See you in a little bit.
Yeah, have a good broadcast tonight, man.
Thank you. Bye.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Why do you look like you're see, we're the most effective duos in the league. I'm very hesitant of splitting them up. Hey, That's magical, that statement.
For it, I wouldn't hesitate.
I'm sorry. I felt like I hit you a little bit too hard in the back. So
no,
I
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm like, this is a perfect
Everything's
opportunity.
fine. That's right.
Yeah, a perfect opportunity. Are you going to be
That's right.
okay? I'm like, I can hit her just a little bit harder.
Every comment I've made to him, he just took out on me in those
You have
slaps,
no idea the banter before the show.
100%.
You abuse me.
Let's take a quick look at the projected lines again as we get ready to wrap things up. This is what we are expecting for today. It's what we saw yesterday during practice, as well as this morning for morning skate. Eric Comrie is going to get the start in net. We could see Eric run with, the breaks that they have in between of just every other day. We could see Comrie run for quite a while, but this is what our projected lines look like going into tonight. So looking forward to seeing whether or not this gets the offense going the way that Scott Arniel and the rest of the coaching staff had been hoping for.
You know what I really appreciate about Luke Fink, who does our graphics? He understands the theme behind things. He knows Alex Iafallo is going to the top line, so he puts him in the background there. Neil Pionk came back the other day. There's Neil Pionk in the background.
100%.
It's like Luke knows exactly what he's doing.
It is not by accident, my friend.
Yeah.
Jets fans, we want to tell you about the save of the game tonight, which you can get if you are coming to today or Thursday's game. But also, since it is December, we like to give you some ideas for the holidays. And this is a good one. A 60 by 70 luxury plush blanket. It is on sale for $29.99, regular $45. Offer valid until December 11th, 2025. It's available. Now, this is the important part. Usually these deals often you can find online as well. This deal is available in store at the 3 mall locations and all booths within the arena, but the deal is not available online. So you need to go to a Jets gear store in order to get it. But there you go. There's a little bit of help for your Winnipeg Jets fan on these cold days for your holiday shopping.
I'll tell you something. Going to the Jets gear store, I went to the one in Polo Park the other day. Had some great service. Got a Jonathan Toews jersey for a buddy. Fast, efficient, like that. Jets gear. Make sure you go there.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. As always, we love having you guys join us.
Yeah.
Don't forget that if for some reason you are not able to join us live when we go at 12:30 on game days, you can always listen to us in podcast form on your way home from work, maybe on your way to the rink as well, or on your way to shuttling your children around, as you and I often do.
Okay.
Make sure that you try to stay in touch and in tune with what's going on with us. And we try to do our best to bring it to you every game day.
And if you're coming to the game tonight, drive slower. Roads are still pretty crappy.
Yeah, not too slow though. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Be cautious. Be
smart.
But not too slow.
Right. That's a really good one.
It's a fine line.
If there was a sign that said,
a fine line.
Be cautious, be smart.
That's right.
But not too
slow.
not
too slow.
Yeah.
If you're going to be slow, stay out of the left
but not
lane.
too slow.
There you go.
We've come up with it.
All right. We had a great time. Thanks to Kevin Sawyer for joining us.
Morgan Barron as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well. And we will see you guys hopefully after a Winnipeg Jets win for game 2 of this 4-game homestand when they host the Boston Bruins in town on Thursday.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks so much for checking in.